The old world is full of many great mysteries, more than this humble scholar could ever even know. Even in our little chats, I have barely scratched the surface of the Empire. Never mind cold Kislev to the north, or the lands of Bretonia to the west, distant Cathay, or the jungles of Lustria. Still, there is one thing that will always be helpful to you, my friend. Keep Sigmar close in your heart, for he watches over us always. And beware the dark corners of this world, for they will devour the unwary. Be ever vigilant, for chaos never sleeps. This is Red Moon role-playing. The first thing you notice, Kruger, is Tegan glare at you and raise his hand suddenly. There is a crackling energy in the air, a strange blue-purple flame. You weren't ready for this, Kruger. You don't know what's about to happen to you.
No, I have no idea. It's not good, though. I just have to try and take him out before he can do something to me.
There is a crackling bolt of energy that suddenly comes from his hands. He glares at you. Damn you meddling fools! Then suddenly, whatever it was he was conjuring his hand kind of fizzles out. No! At this, the bulky man charges at you, Heinrich. But remember, your rapier skills mean that you are fast. If you want, you can have your turn now, before he gets to you.
You don't win duels by letting them get a free shot. I will give him the courtesy of a small bow. Every duel has to begin as such, but he's about to learn a lesson in charging blindly into circumstances he does not understand.
Indeed. It is your turn. What do you do as this man is about to charge at you, but you're going first?
I believe someone of his bulk is going to have a hard time slowing himself to react to new circumstances, and I'm going to use that to my advantage as I take a quarter step onto his weak side, whichever side he's not holding the weapon on, and then I'll strike from that angle with my rapier.
Please make your weapon skill roll. He will oppose you with his own weapon skill roll.
Oh, it is a success, but at no success levels, just under the number.
Sadly, he is successful with 2 success levels. You don't know quite what happens, Heinrich, because this man is not a skillful man, but he is very big. He was wielding some sort of large steel cane, which he whips out, and with pure brute force, smashes past your attack, and instead turns the attack on you. He deals 11 damage to your body.
Does armor straight reduce that number?
It does indeed, as does your toughness bonus.
11 minus 5, I take 6?
Yes.
That still hurts really bad.
Indeed it does. Again, this man is all bulk, no skill, but god damn, he's incensed. You see, boy, no one comes between Steinhager and his money! It is this person's turn. He continues his assault on you. You can choose to dodge, of course, here, or meet his weapon skill to weapon skill. Heinrich.
Oh no, you have to continue swinging. There's no dodge in dueling. It appears I've learned my lesson. I rolled a 7, which is 4 success levels.
It is indeed. How do you turn this round? He swings this heavy cudgel at you again, but completely misses.
It's a question of overconfidence. He got lucky with the first one, and that's my mistake for being too bold, but he still has that momentum. Now that I know the reach of his weapon, I can duck just behind, let him swing past, and then just a big wall of meat waiting to be laced up by the tip of a blade.
Wonderful. How much damage is that? It's the weapon damage plus those success levels you just got.
So 11.
You stab at this man hard. He's not wearing any armor, which is helpful, but you do feel he is awfully dense underneath this robe. His mask falls off, and you, Siegfrieda, recognize, yes, this is Franz Steinhager, that large man from the warehouse the other day. He yells in anger as you take this wound on him. He's not looking good, but he is still standing. Kruger, your turn. It does seem as if Heinrich is having a little trouble with this massive man, but of course there is then Johannes himself, although whatever he was doing failed. What do you do?
But I might not get so lucky the next time. I'll try to put an arrow into Johannes. Hopefully that will make him forget about any attempts at casting magics on us. So I will draw an arrow and fire at him.
Certainly. Roll your attack. There is no opposed roll when it's ranged.
14 under 40. 3 degrees of success.
What is your damage?
7.
7 damage. You fire your bow and catch him on the shoulder. But you do notice you just about catch him on the shoulder. He kind of winces in anger. Damn you, Lieberang! Ah! Siegfrieda, your turn. You notice from where you're standing watching this battle happen that the third individual is doing absolutely nothing. Your friends seem to be doing okay, but these people are quite formidable, it seems, even though they are losing at this moment.
Well, if I'm still hidden in the shadows and that fellow is there just eating a garlic clove, I would like to sneak around the warehouse behind the boxes and see if I can get the drop on him.
You sneak around the warehouses, and you attempt to get the drop on him, but the second you step out, you see him just look straight your direction in the darkness, smile at you, and say, "Funny, Doctor, don't your friends need you? Don't spoil my fun, I'm enjoying the show."
I mean, it's a good point.
He's looking straight into the darkness. You don't know how can he fucking see you, but somehow he can.
It's fine. He's not doing anything threatening at this time. Which of Steinhager and Tegan look in the worst shape?
You think Steinhager looks a little worse for shape. He's a very big man, though. He's going to need a few more blows to take him down. You think to yourself.
Well, as much as I don't particularly want to interrupt Heinrich's fantastic dueling and rob him of any honour, at the same time there is a vengeful streak in me that wants to gut this bloated whale as our good friend Magirius was gutted. And so I wish to move across the warehouse in a non-threatening manner, just walking into the battlefield with my dagger in hand and then slot the bastard.
Then we will say it didn't take too much movement to try and sneak up on the other guy. You have enough movement to join the battle to the side, of course, of Heinrich. Heinrich, you just suddenly see from nowhere Siegfrieda emerge and aim a knife. Give yourself a +20 to this weapon skill roll.
So that's a 12 out of... So it was +20, 12 out of 49.
You suddenly emerge from the shadows, and Franz Steinhager just glares at you as you suddenly stab him straight in the gut. What's the damage on your dagger?
4 damage, by my reckoning.
You stab your dagger into Franz Steinhager. You've definitely stabbed him, although, to your surprise, he just seems to be made more angry by this. Doesn't seem that hurt, although he definitely has been stabbed, and that's not a good thing. He bellows in rage. This second round begins. Tegan looks more distracted. He kind of looks in the corner. Gideon, why aren't you doing anything? Damn you, Gideon, do something! And he once again tries to cast this spell, although you notice he seems very distracted now.
I would hope so. Being shot by an arrow is something that should make you think about your decisions in life.
However, he does suddenly conjure forth something in his hands, this lightning, and it does suddenly arc out from him. He screams in triumph, "Yes! Yes!" Take 10 damage. Somehow, this lightning bolt, you don't know what this is, but it hurts like hell.
Yes, it certainly does. I have a toughness bonus of 3, and my armor is 1, so that's 4. And you said it was 10, so 6.
Indeed.
That hurts like hell. I can't take any more of this.
Indeed. This is a bloody battle. These two men shouldn't be this strong, but for some reason they are. And all the while, that mysterious man just keeps watching from the corner. It is Franz Steinhager's turn, but of course, Heinrich, as always, you can choose to step out of initiative order and go first if you wish.
And at first it was a matter of pride. Now it's a matter of not getting cracked with that damn cane again. So I will take this gentleman on.
Then it's weapon skill, once again, versus weapon skill.
That is 18. And if I have advantage carrying over from the last turn, that is 5 success levels.
Yes, you were actually successful on your attack roll, which means you now have advantage. And you haven't been hurt again, so you'll keep it until you are hurt. So how many success levels is that?
5.
Then your damage, plus 5.
Strength bonus of 3 on top of 5 success levels, plus 4 for 12 damage.
You strike at this guy again as he fails to parry. He falls to the ground in pain and anger. He clutches at his side where he's been stabbed by you, Siegfrieda. Ah! You won't get away with this, you fools! He's still alive, but he is starting to go down.
I'll give him a gentle kick at the calf and say, that's what they all say. And then I'm going to leave him to Siegfrieda.
Well, in that case, as his turn comes round, he does meekly try and stab at you. Do you meet him with weapon skill? Or dodge?
I'll dodge. I feel that I have already bested him. He's on the ground waiting, and I don't want to rob Siegfrieda of what is her rightful vengeance.
Very good. Give yourself a plus 10 as well, because advantage counts on your defensive rolls as well.
Not as good, but still good. 28 under 49 with advantage. That's 3 success levels.
Even though your success levels are the same, you have exactly 1 more number than him. He rolled 29. Meaning you successfully just duck, although this guy swings wide with this cane of his. Kruger, your turn. You notice that Franz seems to be going down, but again, this Tegan, he's still up, and what he did to you was really hurt.
I have to try and stop him. I'll send another arrow his way.
Roll your attack.
And that is no good, so I will use a point of fortune to reroll. That is better. That is 2 degrees of success.
Wonderful. So that's 2 plus your damage.
2 plus 4, 6.
Again, you fire an arrow into him. Again, it hits him on the side. The only thing you're realizing is that the problem with the short bow is it is a rather simple bow. It's not really designed for this sort of thing. It's more for peppering people with arrows. He's in a lot of pain, but he's still up as he sort of clutches at the arrows like, ah!
Yes, my hope is that it will somehow distract him and make him unable to cast his spells. But it didn't help the last time. I'll just have to hope that I can survive this one. The oncoming attack that he will send my way, probably.
Siegfrieda, your turn. That large man is on his knees now. He is going down, but he's still just got a little bit of fight left in him.
Well, my intention isn't to kill him. I'm a doctor, above all things, but my intention is to sever his tendons in his arms and legs so he can't fight anymore.
Well, Siegfrieda, this is certainly rather tricky. You are aware, of course, that conducting such surgery, which you are just about able to do, is very dangerous. But let's see how you do. Roll your heal test at a -20. Because he is totally trying to stop you doing this to him.
Yes, it is always difficult to perform surgery on someone who is fighting back. However, my mind is called to our good friend Megarius, who was likewise had an unexpected appendectomy performed on him earlier today. So, yeah, let's give this a go. With my surgery talent, I succeed. I roll a 25 against my reduced heal of 33. So that means surgery has now commenced. I can cause 1d10 wounds and 1 bleeding condition per test. So let's see how that goes. I cause 10 wounds and 1 bleeding condition. One could remark upon this surgery as I perform it as a botched job. What I am actually seeing this as is a necessary evil to disable someone who may otherwise perform actions that could get in our way. This man is a cultist. He is trying to enrich himself upon the deaths of others, and he needs to lose the use of arms and legs.
And so you begin trying to conduct surgery, although, Heinrich, what you see is Siegfried look very carefully, stab this man in the legs, and then look a bit surprised when suddenly a major artery just spurts out. And you just see this man kind of be like, "What are you... And then Siegfried goes for the other leg, and then the man just collapses. Siegfried, you notice a small problem. He seems to be bleeding out very rapidly. You just hit 2 major arteries. You think he'll be dead in about 60 seconds.
Oh, damn. I swore an oath.
And so this man falls.
For whatever it's worth, that looks exactly like all the other times I've seen Siegfried do surgery, so nothing is different from my perspective.
It is the next round. You see Tegan take a step back. Meddling fools! I'm running out of time! Heinrich. It is now Tegan's turn, but as always, it's a new round. You can choose to go first in the initiative order if you like.
As much as I would love to twice let my friends take what belongs to them, I don't think Kruger's going to mind if I prevent another bolt of lightning from striking him.
You don't. You notice his arrows have done some damage, but it is a short bow. You kind of think those things are designed to hinder people rather than straight off kill them.
I'm not taking any chances. So I will close the distance with the rapier, and who knows, maybe we'll have some leftovers that Kruger can mop up as well, but better safe than electrocuted, as Dad always said.
Very well then, you charge forward. He tries to dodge out of the way. Make your weapon skill roll. So make your weapon skill roll with 2 advantage, because advantage builds up after all.
Well, even with that plus 20, this is not enough, so I would like to re-roll that. Oh, that is significantly better in the best way. I have rolled an 11, so that is an impaling strike.
You get a critical wound on this man, on his left arm. Tell us how you very badly disable him.
Honestly, all credit to Siegfrieda. Whether intentionally or otherwise, she's taught me where to put the blade to make the bleeding happen. I come in, again at an angle, shoulder forward, guarding the blade arm. I don't know how the casting works, but I'm not willing to take a hit into my weapon arm. Once I've closed the distance, as he's backing up, as he's distracted, looking around, I just lash out, almost with a whip-like motion, to draw the tip of the blade across, I suppose it'd be the bicep. And it is by stroke of fortune, or well, no, it might be stroke of fortune. I'll tell everyone it was stroke of skill that I managed to cut that exactly. That it sinks deep into the muscle, the tip of the blade scratching across the bone as I cut that open, leaving from the flourish of the blade. And anyone watching can tell exactly how vicious the wound is as a fountain of red follows the tip of the blade arcing through the air.
Johannes Tegan staggers back. Blood spurts through the air, and you notice after a few seconds, his arm half sag. You didn't quite chop his arm straight off, but you really did get that bicep. Half the arm is dangling. He screams in agony and falls to his knees. No! You! Leave her out! You bastards! All of you bastards! Ah! And so the fight comes to an end. But it would be your turn next, Kruger. What do you do?
I'm looking for that other man, Gideon. Is he still there?
He is. He's looking at what's happening, chuckling a little to himself and eating his garlic clove.
I look around for other threats. There is no one, right?
No. But you do hear something. The bell the town bell, it begins chiming the time. Dong, dong, dong. Siegfrieda, what are you doing? You look at this man, this Franz Steinhager, as he sort of glares at you. Death's about to come on to him. He sort of just looks in your face, his mask, of course, falling off by this point, and just says, "I knew you were a spy. A spy. My money. My money."
Do I want to save him? He's probably lost too much blood for me to stitch it up now, hasn't he?
He definitely has.
Oh, in that case, I will give him the cold comfort of saying, "Your brother will run your house better than you can."
And Franz Steinhager passes, and you hear it too. This dong-dong sound. What's the time? It can't be... It keeps going. It's gone past 7, 8, 9? Heinrich, you stand before your vanquished foe. He is glaring wildly behind you, and then he looks at you and just says, "Wait, no, quick, finish me, bastard, quick, finish me now, quick, stab me in the eye, something, quickly."
Oh, don't get me wrong, I'd love to, but the duel is over. I think you should use this time to think about the lives you've taken and the choices you've made. And as I'm saying that, I will use a less bloody part of his clothing to wipe my rapier off before sheathing it.
Lives taken? Why would you care? 7 merchants, why would you have cared about their lives?
It's not about whether a life has value. It's about whether or not we can choose to take them. It's between you and Sigmar now.
Kruger, what do? You see your foe there, you hear the donging of the bells, and then just as it's about to hit 12, you just see the man eating the garlic clove say, "Oh well, Johannes, I guess they win this round." "No! Gideon, you could just kill them! No!" The final bell tolls. There is a strange vibration in the air. And then, Heinrich, behind Johannes Tegan, you see a strange thing begin to occur. A small hole is opening in space. You think? A strange blue and reddish crack is appearing in the very air behind Johannes Tegan. A loud voice intones in this warehouse. "And so, your time has come, Johannes Tegan. A useful servant while you lived, useful no more. You must serve a different way now." The voice is discordant, sounding like a man's voice, a woman's voice, children's voices, old men's voices. You see Johannes Tegan just sort of reach out to you, Kruger, with his other hand, just, "No! Kill me now! Or kill them! No! I can still get what you need!"
I just look at him, and I allow it to happen.
Behind him, a portal opens to a blue, hellish hellscape. From within it, tendrils appear, tentacle-like, but also wreathed in flame. They wrap themselves around Johannes Tegan. He begins to be lifted in the air. He gives out one more feeble cry to you, Kruger. "Damn you, Lieberug, why did you interfere? Who did you work for? No!" And he is dragged back with a popping sound into this portal in space. Could everyone at this point roll a willpower coolness roll?
20 out of 56.
1 success level. 25 under 35.
I roll 55 over 31.
Kruger, you are frozen in terror as you see what's happening, and you can't look, you have to look away. But Heinrich and Siegfrieda, even though this is beyond your comprehension, for some reason you don't feel in danger, at least not yet. You take a few steps back, but both of you watch on as Johannes Tegan is torn limb from limb, wherever he is now. And then there is a popping sound, and whatever that was is gone. The bell finished tolling, for midnight. The figure in the corner begins to clap. Well, that was entertaining. Again, not really what I wanted. The ritual was going to be so much fun. But you three are more fun. I like you, silly doctor, silly brave man, and Herr Lieberung. What do the three of you do? For the moment, Kruger, you are still speechless, but Heinrich, Siegfried, you can speak, you can move.
Is this Gideon not going anywhere?
No.
He's just clapping and laughing at us, basically. Seeing everything that's going on, trying to take it in, trying to comprehend it. My main thought is this creature, because I don't believe it's truly a human, needs to die. But I am unarmoured, I am not skilled at offence. And so I say to Heinrich, we need to kill this thing.
I'm inclined to agree. But that voice betrays a slight lack of confidence, knowing that it takes a certain amount of swagger to act so calmly in the face of all of this.
It really does. He hasn't even broken a sweat. He hasn't even moved.
I can't back down from a challenge, even though there's not technically one being made. With the blade now clean, I can point it at him and say, "Is this something we take care of now, then?"
No. What a boring game that would be. You want to fight me here now? No. Boring. I just kill you, and that's not very fun, is it? But you have won this round. I do have to pay a penalty, don't I? I know. You can all have a question. He smiles. One question for each of you. I'm sure you want to know what's going on. I have to tell, I've lost the game. Those are the rules.
I look to Heinrich. I look over at Kruger. How's he doing?
Kruger, how are you doing? You think you're beginning to recover, but you just saw a man. Even though he was an evil man, but he just was taken into a portal and devoured?
It's not supposed to be possible. I mean, I'm finding it difficult to deal with the fact that this really happened. This is not just some story that the guys would tell each other to I can't process it. It's real. It really happened.
Indeed. Therefore, Heinrich, it seems you and Siegfried are still in control here for the moment. What do you do?
In most cases, I would defer to Siegfried's abundance of knowledge, but my curiosity leaps immediately to one, perhaps too broad, question. Who do you serve?
Who do you think? None other than the great architect of fate, the changer of ways. They are my master. A bit of a boring question, though. You probably could have figured that out eventually. Your turn, funny doctor. What is your question?
Where will we find your cult next? Along the road or the river?
They will find you. Maybe you'll find them. A purple hand does extend far too much. It will burn itself soon, and in doing so, bring everything around it to flame. And nothing you can do will stop it. Not even Sigma's Warhammer itself would stop it. But don't worry. They'll be finding you soon. I'm going to make sure of it, because I want to play this game with you free. So don't worry if you're wondering about that. They're going to know your names and faces. They definitely will. Final question. Kruger. I do know you're not Herr Lieberung, by the way, but thank you for telling me he's dead. That makes that simpler. What is your question, friend?
Why do I look exactly like him?
Huh. That's a boring question. I don't know. I don't really care. But it's funny, isn't it?
I will find out. And I will see you again.
Oh, you will, friends, you will. A final gift. You are going to need to leave quite soon, I imagine. You're wanted for, well, it would have been murder. Assault's still pretty bad. There's a mob out there. But maybe you'll convince everyone that you're actually on their side. I don't know. But this was a fun game. Well done. Well done. What did the three of you do? He's still standing there.
We'd better go, right? Or do you want to try and explain this?
Well, let's back out, I think.
Heinrich is nodding along.
You begin backing out, but do you turn your back on this man just yet? Heinrich again. He's right there. Surely you could end this all now, just with a sword thrust.
I agree fully with Siegfrieda that whatever this is, it isn't human, and even Tegan, mere mortal, the lightning. I've seen something tear apart an Inquisitor. There will come a time. I fully believe it. Now is not that time. And so as Kruger and Siegfrieda make their own way out, I will follow, but no, I'm not taking my eyes off of this thing until absolutely necessary.
We begin exiting the building, and you, Heinrich, keep your eyes on that man. And he looks at you and says, "We will meet again. You're part of the game now. It's going to be fun." And then something happens. The man folds in on himself, his arms, his legs, his head, they all compact and squash together and reform. You can hear the sound of bone and skin changing in a matter of moments, and then before you for a moment is this being of purple and blue fire, of tendrils, of a strange cloak that seems to somehow contain all this, and most disturbing of all, a bird-like head, a strange skull-like mask almost of a bird, a mockery of a bird even. And then whatever this thing is, it just suddenly glides through one of the windows, smashing through, and quickly vanishes into the night. Heinrich, could you roll a willpower roll, please?
I rolled a 91 over 35.
You are overcome with what you've just seen. The other two didn't see it, but you just saw... What on earth was that man? You're lucky to be alive. Heinrich, you are lucky to be alive. You need to run.
Apologies to my dear friends as I take an expedited path past them and through whatever door or window they were inching towards.
And so, as you enter the night, Kruger and Siegfrieda, you see just running ahead of you, seeming completely shaken suddenly. Heinrich, what do you two do?
I follow him. I want to get as far away from this place as possible before the mob gets here and before, well, whatever that thing I saw, before that decides to manifest again and suck me in.
Siegfrieda, what about you? You've seen an awful lot here. Your friends suddenly seem to be rather scared.
As curious as I am about everything going on, yes, I know that the better course of valor here is to flee, like my life depends on it, because it probably does. So now I will turn my back on the crunching up, folding inside out creature and run.
And the three of you run. But where do you run to? Well, the answer's obvious. You remember the boat. Surely he left the boat for you. And you will begin running to the riverside, and you will see that, yes, he did leave a boat for you. There's a couple of watch boats, actually. Right now, maybe stealing a boat isn't very nice, but steal it you do, because you realise you can just quickly get back to the Berabel, get Captain Joseph, and get out of Bogenhafen. You've done your best, you've saved the day, but you don't think anyone's going to thank you for it. What do, you three?
But we have saved the city. We have saved the townspeople. This didn't go exactly as I would have thought it should have, but at least the ritual failed. People are safe.
You do notice, Heinrich, as you look up at the sky, the grey moon is gone. There is now just a normal full moon. far up in the sky.
Well, Kruger said people are safe, but I don't believe that includes the three of us. That creature will be back, the moon will be back, and I know right now in my heart of hearts that I'm not good enough at what I do to keep myself or them safe. The way that it taunted us, look, an old merchant man with a cane nearly took me out of the kneecaps. So in addition, there's the horror of seeing it twist and turn, there's the vulnerability of knowing that I'm at its mercy, and then there's the quiet shame of knowing that in this trio, my one job is to be the blade that stands between them and danger. And all of those beliefs are not doing so well right now. So, yeah, great. The moon is better, but I'm not.
No. The three of you are on the boat. You land on the shore, and just ahead you can see the Beribel. You can see in the dark Joseph kind of looking out, looking in your direction. Hey! Heinrich! What are the three of you doing over there? Lads, I don't know what's going on, but I think you need to get on this boat or we need to leave. It's been a very strange night. Fell omens in the sky.
I think Joseph is just going to see the cold, drained face, exhausted from battle and still just pale with the terror and the realization. So I'll go through the motions of all the nodding and waving, but it's obvious there's nothing behind it, just dead eyes staring into the water. In fact, I think even as we're all getting on the boat, I just walk towards the aft of the ship and then just sit.
And sit you do, and you climb on as well, Kruger. And then just as you're climbing on, Siegfrieda, you turn and see a sight that fills you with caution, but then maybe hope. On one hand, 20 members of the watch are approaching the boat, several of them with crossbows. But you do see your father, and he's leading them. And then behind him comes a woman. This woman is dressed in a fine black robe and has a large white wig on her head, giving her long white curls. She steps forward briskly. Good evening, gentlemen. Are all three of you going to invite me on your boat for a little chat? Or am I going to have to order my men to fire, have your boat impounded, and have you all arrested?
It's not our boat, I'm afraid.
You see Joseph looking very concerned, but then he just sort of looks to you. Walder and Old Grey come up on board as well. Am I invited aboard or not?
Heinrich is 100% in his own head right now, so you probably don't want him to be the one talking. I think this falls to Kruger.
Of course. Welcome. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
The woman begins to step aboard. She nods to McGregor. McGregor gives you a look of sympathy. Siegfrieda, you notice several other guards are starting to head out to the boat and they're beginning to sail to the other shore. She says as she comes on board, "Don't mind them, they're just going to investigate something. Now then, who's going to explain what the hell is going on? I have had a few leads. A certain barely alive Frederick Megarius, and the last testimony of one of my magistrates underneath me, Richter, imply an awful lot of things. I want to hear from you. What is going on? If you're wondering who I am the chief magistrate of Bogenhafen."
I suppose we will lay it all out. Say everything that happened. We wanted to go with truth before, and it worked well then, I suppose.
Let's not say the bit. If you start talking about how we were going to defraud people,
There are certain things that not need to be said here because it's not really all that important. But the parts about the conspiracy, the parts about the ritual and the things threatening Bogenhafen, that part I will make very, very clear. Yes. And the whole Castor Libering thing, well, that's just a big misunderstanding.
This woman listens to you. She seems to be an older woman in her late 50s. She has spectacles that she fiddles with every now and again, but very stern blue eyes. As you speak, at one point some other guards do come on board and whisper something in her ear. Again, your father, Siegfried, is standing nearby, hand on his weapon, looking oddly proud. He looks almost a different man to the one you met a few days ago, who just seemed like a drunken no-one. Eventually, she says, I see. I hope you all understand. This is very, very unusual, and a lot of the things you've said are unbelievable. Except, luckily for you, they corroborate with some of the words we were able to get out of Friedrich Magrius, and some of the words of the late Heinrich. He called me, you see, to his abode to tell me something very important. When I arrived, he was in the grip of some awful fever. The Physicians' Guild were able to make him a little comfortable, but then he rapidly died during the evening. He believed that he'd been visited by the watch captain of all people, but that didn't happen. Someone else came in, he said, and did something to him. You understand what this all means. You have said there is a great conspiracy in Bogenhafen that has been involved with the foul, ruinous powers. By the sounds of it, you three have just managed to stop something occurring that could have been very dire indeed. My watch captain tells me they found the warehouse, they found the ritual, and they have found the body of the late Franz Steinhager. I'm sure you understand what needs to happen next as well. At least I hope so. She looks at you, Siegfrieda.
I wish that I did. I'm of course incredibly glad that the councilman is still with us, still alive. Do pass on our regards, by the way. I'm terribly sorry for all the pain I put him through.
He's lucky to be alive. Surgeons say it's a miracle. Although he'll never again be able to walk properly, eat properly, he probably won't live much longer. He certainly won't be the guildmaster anymore.
Well, you're really making it sound like I did a bad job.
On the contrary. Not bad for someone who, I'm pretty sure, doesn't have a medical license.
Well, that was something I meant to ask. Obviously, there's all this business of cultists and rituals and whatnot. But I was wondering, given our actions and my surgery, if you could put in a word with the Physicians' Guild. We're going to be leaving town very soon.
Oh, you will be. Please stop speaking, my dear. I haven't finished. You will be leaving. Immediately. She throws a purse to the ground. If you go over to check it, Kruger, it contains 10 gold crowns. A small reward for what you have done. I'm afraid I can't give you any more. It's very important we have understanding, you three. Most of this is not going to be known to the public. We are not going to be telling the good people of Bogenhafen that half the ruling council of their city was perhaps in league with the ruinous powers. We're not going to be telling them that there was a ritual narrowly averted that could have done Sigmar knows what. Absolutely none of that. Here's what's instead going to happen. In regards to arson and murder, the man known as Caster Lieberung has left the city and gone to the east. I will shortly be informing the watch captain of this. Half the watch are still looking for you, by the way. These lot are some of my personal people. And luckily for you, this man, this McGregor, put a very good word in for you. Again, you see that McGregor guy kind of stifle a little. That is who almost murdered Magirius. That is who murdered Franz Steinhager, possibly even Johannes Tegan. This Caster Lieberung, this normal malcontent, and he will be dealt with. You are going to go north with this money, never return to Bogenhafen, and, well, you see what I'm getting at. You'll live. I'm sorry I can't do more, but you understand why I'm doing this, I'm sure.
Oh yes, it's crystal clear. I say as I pick up the purse and look at the 10 gold crowns, and I say to myself, 19,990 to go. Well, better than nothing.
Good. Again. I do believe Bogenhafer knows you a debt, but it can't be repaid. Not yet. Maybe in time. This is agreeable to you, Free?
To the degree that Heinrich is paying any attention at all, he's just nodding along. Sure.
Some crowns to ease our passage wouldn't go amiss.
I just gave them to you.
Oh, wonderful. I was still thinking about my place in the Physicians Guild.
No. You were never here, after all, Miss Siegfrieda. Certainly not conducting any illegal medicine.
Fine. Fine. I will have to go and conduct my illegal medicine elsewhere.
Please don't.
It's been a pleasure.
The pleasure is all mine. I am glad this all has been sorted, and you three are very lucky again. If not for this guardsman and Megarius and the late Richter, even I would have found this very hard to swallow. But you have done surprisingly well, and for that you do have my gratitude. Now then, I believe you all need to be leaving.
Yes. Yes, Joseph, time to cast away and get going, huh?
Joseph, who was not listening to this conversation, after all it was held in a corner, does finally come over and go, "Alright, I don't really know what's going on, but we can go, Chief Magistrate?" "Yes, you can. Don't come back for some time. Good evening, everyone." And the Chief Magistrate begins to leave the boat. All the watch begin leaving. The only one who remains for a few moments more is McGregor. He comes over to you, Siegfrieda, and says, I did the best I could. Did I do all right?
Well, given that we haven't been slaughtered, I think you did very well, Father. No, we're not drowning in riches. I'm still not a qualified physician, according to the letter of the law. The cultists will persist elsewhere, but if we take today in isolation, things have gone well, and they wouldn't have gone nearly as well if I hadn't had your support.
It will never make up for what I did to you, girl, but I hope you do okay. I don't think you can be coming back here for some time, though. I don't think I'll be seeing you for a while.
But once I know if I'm going to land in a place where I've settled for a long time, I will send a messenger your way so that you know where to find me.
He nods. He tears up a little. And he walks away. For a moment, Siegfrieda, you wonder if you'd chosen differently, would he still be here? You think maybe he could have died tonight. But you chose to keep him alive. How do you feel about that?
Well, if I had my way, no one would die on my watch, as it were, but of course, despite the strained relationship, the absent relationship of the last 20 years, I'm very glad that he has survived all of this. And that he's come to know the sort of person that I am, for all my flaws. Hopefully this won't be the last time we see each other.
Just before he leaves, he also mutters, "Oh, and I forgot to mention, if you were wondering, don't you worry. The Chief Magistrate says the Order Septenaris, it's done. Every single one of them. You're not going to arrest them publicly, but that order will be disbanded. Nothing good ever came of it. True, well, we'll just have to figure out what we can do for the Mercy House, but don't you worry. It'll be dealt with."
That is wonderful news. I do hope the poor of this town get what they need, though.
He looks a little doubtful, and then walks off. Joseph comes over to you as the boat gets ready to leave Bogenhafen. Heinrich, he kneels down. "Lad, I had no idea what the hell's going on, but what the hell's... Are you alright? You look like you've seen a ghost."
There are things worse than ghosts, aren't there?
Well, aye, but a ghost is still pretty bad, lad. But I don't know what's going on, but it seems whatever trouble you were in, you're not in trouble anymore. We've been told never to come back here, which is a bit of a shame, but that's all right. Why don't you stay on board till we get to Kemperbad, aye? Why don't you, for the moment, just stay here, and I'll pay you and your friends a bit of coin, and you could just stay with old Uncle Joseph for a little bit.
That sounds nice.
Good lad, aye. All right, Walder, set the sails. And in the middle of the night, the boat begins to leave the town of Bogenhafen, slowly rolling away. Under a normal moon, the mists begin to clear as you begin heading north. Kruger, you're sitting there at the front of the boat, a pouch of 10 gold crowns in your hand. What are you thinking?
This all went very differently than it was supposed to. This was supposed to be my destiny. This was supposed to make me live the life that I always wanted. To have riches, to have a comfortable life. To not be an orphan. But I suppose it was not to be. It did give me an opportunity to do something else, though. To do the right thing. To do something that was not just for me. I think we helped people. I think we saved lives. And that's worth more than 20,000 gold crowns. I feel good. I hope this is the last time I ever have to hear the name Caster Lieberung. I just want to be Kruger.
As the boat sails out, Kruger and Siegfrieda, you find yourselves with Heinrich. What are the last things you say to each other before getting some well-earned rest?
Well, Kemperbad. We know that there are fun things to be done there, don't we?
Yes. I understand that there's other nefarious things happening over there. Perhaps we can stop those too.
Perhaps we can stop them, and maybe they have a physician's guild.
Yes. It would be good for you to not have to do that illegal medicine anymore.
Or if I do, I will try and keep it behind closed doors.
Burglary, arson, and illegal medicine. Aren't we a trio?
We really are. Sorry about the 20,000 gold crowns. I guess I'll have to owe you for later?
I always thought it was unlikely. I think we came away with the best possible results from a pretty terrible situation.
It is a little remarkable. With the kind of luck we're having, maybe 20,000 gold crowns isn't too much to ask for in the long run. But I suppose, given how things have gone so far, we'll stumble into it rather than finding it on purpose.
I think you're right.
And so, your boat sails away into the night. The town of Bogenhafen still standing. Just as you leave, nearby in a bush, a raven watching your boat pass with great amusement.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play the legendary campaign The Enemy Within for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition, published by Cubicle 7. In this first part of the series, we're tackling Book 1, Enemy in Shadows. Joining us as players in this series are none other than Aaron Hammonds from Queen's Court Games and our dear friend Matthew Dawkins. The music was made by Flowers for Body Snatchers, Wordclock, Metatron Omega, Aeger Sonus, Apocryphus, Halgrath, and Northumbria, featuring a number of collaborations with other artists, and was used with permission from their label, Cryochamber. Check out their website at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some moody dark ambient for your gaming table. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Nastasia Raulerson, Simon Cooper, David, Julián, Camilla, Bob Lange, Julián, Cameron, and Antxon for their generous support. We would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult of Divinity Lost and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, And remember that Skaven are definitely not real.